Well, happy Saturday, beautiful people, beautiful people. Yes, I'm in touch with my Haitian roots, my um, African roots, Ivory Coast, and my Native American roots, and our Louisiana Bayou roots. So we're a mixture of everything in my family from both sides. My father's side is Haitian and South African. I mean, not South African, but Ivory Coast. My mom's side is more South African, Zulu, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Hutu, and Zulu, if I'm not mistaken. Because we're all tall. I'm the shortest and the oldest of my siblings. You know, my mom's 6 feet 11. My grandmother was 6'1" on my mom's side, so they were all tall. My Uncle Lonnie 6'7", Uncle Dennis 6'6", Uncle Charles 6'4.5". So no short people. I'm 5'10", so there you go. But that said, welcome, 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 guys. I had to start the new group. There's just Facebook, TikTok, IG. It's too much toxicity, too much cyberbullying. I don't think people realize that bullying is a crime, especially against the elderly. I'm almost 60 years old, but DJ Nana can handle her own. That's why I got this on DJ Nana. Okay, Mamacita, Mamacita, you hear me? That part right there. But that said, welcome to the group. We're going to have fun. It's major content going. So today I'm going to talk to you guys, and this is my ladies layer, my book layer, my office, my home office / guests. This is where all the guests come when they come to stay, which lately they've been coming in droves. But that said, nothing like family and friends coming in earnest to check on you, see how you're feeling and doing, and I love that. But that said, I want to go over those of you who aren't familiar with any of my books. I have 3 books that are live now. I've actually had 8 books, but we pulled them off of all our platforms, and we're starting all over from the beginning, just revamping everything, making everything better. We are leveling up the playing field. I'm not a savage. I will never claim to be. I tell everyone, but I am a barbarian at the gate when I want to be. Trust me. But first book, this book of mine. This is my full-blown novel. Passage from Decadence is actually really falls under what I call New Urban Renaissance, urban lit. It is an amazing read. When people read this book, they were like, "Oh my God, I never thought." I'm like, all you have to do is look at Stella Ann Kelly and see she is nothing to play with. This is the quintessential barbarian at the gate. It is a beautiful book, very well. Terry A. Wilson did the formatting, and each chapter it is as if Stella Ann staring right at you. And it's a wonderful read. Okay, you gotta love a chapter called Lotus Bomb. What is that about? It's not about the perfume. I don't know what it is about that perfume. I can't stand it. It's so sweet. And it's not powdery enough. It never, on skin like mine, especially the darker the skin, the more powdery the fragrance a woman need for it to stay and to give you your own personal scent. And you don't have to be African American or Hispanic. You could have a tan, but the darker your skin is, the more it's going to hold and retain that fragrance. Just a little tip, a tip we learned from yours truly. I mean, I never thought when you get out, once you get out the shower or bath, tub, etc., don't dry off immediately. Spray the fragrance you want. Oil your skin down. Use Johnson & Johnson baby oil only, not the imitation stuff or the generic form. Johnson & Johnson plain baby oil. I swear to God, if you want your skin velvety soft and hydrated, oil hydrates, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me in that. I worked in the beauty industry for almost 16 years. I can tell you, oil begets oil. Oil cleans oil. Oil is great for the skin because most people feel that people of color do not have dry skin. Hence the term ashy. Yes, we do have dry skin. Our hair is oily. You get below that, and our backside, lower backside, we're bone dry. Dry as a Mojave Desert, I kid you not. And Stella Ann taught us these little tricks, and we loved it. Once you don't dry off, put the oil on your skin, because the water is going to help pull the molecular structure of the water. Is going to pull that into the deepest cell, below the cell in your skin. Plus, it's going to seep through. Spray whatever perfume. I always sprayed pure perfume in the mornings. So by the time my body dried, wrapped in my towel and everything, it was perfect. It dried. It air dried perfectly, went into my skin, and it was amazing. And everyone was like, what is that you're wearing? The same thing you are. We just apply it differently. And she would teach us, she taught us so much. And this book is also, you have there's so many tropes in this book. Millionaire, dark daddy, alpha male type, meets alpha female type, veteran. I always write about veterans and PTSD, because I put in all of my books, I always write about PTSD, because it's not what people think. PTSD is not a one-off. Every veteran and soldier that has PTSD is totally different. And we're not all trying to jump off a cliff or hang ourselves from the rafters. I can't say that enough. That is not what we are about. PTSD is different per person, per the experience, how well you can cope and handle yourself in stressful situations. I put it that way. Tense situations, and of course, situations that remind you of where you've been from a combat perspective, military perspective, etc., etc. But that said, also, here's the other trope. The young Bart, one of the main character, he loved Stella Ann. He wanted her. He had to have her. He loved women of color. His family's background, Bart was Eastern European on his father's side, but he was French and South African on his mother's side. So you have quite a few variables working there as far as the dating go. And Stella Ann had, what did she have? She had Cuban, Dominican, Haitian, Louisiana, and Oklahoma roots. There's a lot of clashing going on there. But they were dating at a time when Atlanta was on fire. Nothing like this Atlanta of today. Atlanta, I would say the corporate structure of Atlanta is more progressive. It's more Y2K 26 maybe right about now. Whereas back in the day, 2002, 2003, Atlanta was on fire. You had more people in the middle. No one was to this or to that. They were really here. And Stella Ann was most, I would say she was a centrist. Economically to the right, socially to the left, but not off the cliff with all the craziness. And she taught us so much. She taught us so much about dating, how to date constructively and effectively. That's why we call her the barbarian at the gate. And when we call her barbarian at the gate, we're not talking about necessarily the Romans and Caesar crossing the Rubicon or the invaders crossing the Rubicon. We're talking the Nabisco and Cookie takeover, and I can't think, R.J. Reynolds going to bat for corporate takeover. That type of clash of the Titans. We loved it, listening to her sit at the table and speak to us and explain things to us, you know, corporate etiquette, how to dress. The first book, Stella Ann tried to teach us to read, or advised us to read, was The Millionaire Next Door. Luckily for me, I had already read it because of my ex-husband, Tom. He taught me. He was like, look, you need to read The Millionaire Next Door. You read that, you know everything about me. I'm like, well, you just pretty much gave away the cookie jar, right? Okay, The Millionaire Next Door. I get it. I so get it, you know. And there was like 17 and a half years between us. He was 17 years my senior, so. But I learned so much from that Texan. That said, Stella Ann taught us a lot of things we thought we knew we didn't know. But watching her date Bart, holy crap. And when you think of the story of here you have, and not only were they barbarians at the gate, they were libertines too. That is a very tenacious combination. I don't care what anybody's saying. And it is a powerful, powerful read. Sorry. Excuse me. In my books, I don't give you everything. When I think of them, my hands tremble. Because some of the things we bore witness to were so fantastic and unbelievable. We were like, we weren't like everyone is today. Out comes the cameras. No. We were like, did we just, yeah. We're watching it right in front of us. Did this just happen? They would go at it. And I think back then also that particular time, by Stella Ann being this tall, striking woman of color with this all-out, I don't give a damn attitude, and here you have this powerful guy, way shorter than her, and he, Bart would say, I'm short on height but long on everything else. We're not going to have that conversation with you because it's so goddamn inappropriate. But he meant no harm. He wasn't trying to date everything. No. He picked one and he stuck with the one. Guys could learn something from that. But also, ladies, this is a how to date and a how not to date. This is 12 steps to dating the guy you want in your life. 12 steps to dating. I repeat, 12 steps to dating the gentleman you want in your life. Mr. You could have whatever you like. That said, also, sorry, I got those injections yesterday, y'all. Shit. But that said, there was this power struggle between Bart and Stella Ann because we couldn't figure it out. All that education, powerful hedge fund manager. Bart had his own hedge fund company. He said on, He was the chief who sat at the board of trustees. Excuse me. But that said, we could never fathom why is he hanging around with all these hippie chicks. These, you know, we've been invited to Michael Vick's party. We've been invited to this party. You know, well, okay, then you take your ass home to that party. We're not going. I ain't going nowhere near. I don't do the groupie thing. I don't do the, oh, he's a promoter with this rapper and that rapper. We weren't. My crew, we weren't like that. Hell no. How I look tramping behind somebody. I don't care about sitting in a suite in the stadium. Look, young ladies, been there, done that. I've stood in the Eiffel Tower. Okay. I've been on the French Riviera. I've been to Naples and Sicily, Germany, France, Portugal. What the hell are you talking about? I've seen the world. Israel, girl, stop. But, they would tell Bart whatever he wanted to hear. Bart had an ego big as the moon. And I think that's why he and Stella in class, because she never fed his ego. She taunted the hell out of it. She was like, so you wear a size what shoe? Ouch. She was like, shoes I know, my ex-husband wore a size 13 and a half. Oh, damn. We're at the table during happy hour. I almost choked on my scotch. She was a mess. But she taught us so much. But I think in the end, they really loved each other. Personalities just really got. Bart took her down such a dark rabbit hole. I won't even say he took her down the rabbit hole. They went down that rabbit hole together. But Bart was so egotistical, he felt that he was the one taking her down that rabbit hole. Stella Ann went because she was curious. She had a very curious nature. She always learn new things, good or bad. Learn it. Learn it so you will know it when you see it. Stop being afraid of new and different things. That's what she said all the time. And Bart had the same philosophy. I think those two were more two of a kind than anything, because you literally could feel the smoldering heat and fire coming off. Because we were like, did they turn up the heat in this damn room? What? It's these two. And it was always when we were somewhere in their line of sight, direct sight. When I say LOS, line of sight, is what I mean. Old military term. But that said, but they lit us up. They could light up the Christmas tree at Lenox during Christmas. That's how much electricity went through them. And you're sitting next to Bart. Bart would put. He was one of those. Good Lord. Ooh, you become a church lady. Lord, please help me hang on to my bearings. Because this one here, he was a snake charmer. He could charm the pants off if you weren't careful. I used to tell him, I'm wearing garters. None of my lingerie is going anywhere. And you got to come at me differently. Stella's my girl. I ain't going to do that. And I wouldn't do it if she wasn't my girl. Because that's not how you do folks. Period. But what I liked about Stella, she wasn't full of mess. She wasn't a cutthroat bitch. Those little satellites that hung around Bart, they'll cut your throat in a minute. Because they used to always ask Bart, why are you hanging around with all these old women? Girl. We told him one time, I said it, I didn't wait for my friends to say it. I said, if you don't get this little girl, you better get this little girl. Because she about to get her tonsils snatched out, okay? I'm about to put a diaper on this bitch. You must get her. You don't know me like that. You don't want to know that side. Period. And I said it just like that. And she's like, what side is that? Yeah, I'm from the AF. I'm from the dirty South. You about to be buried in it. That's what you don't understand. Because I'm about to jack you into the ground, little girl. Don't. You know, and Bart was like, y'all calm down. Calm down, ladies. Calm down. I'm like, look at you. We should bury your ass. That's what we should do. Starting all this mess. You love it. He's like, what makes you say that? The fact that you were like, what makes you say you ain't naive like that? Mr. Chairman of the board, don't play with me. I'm not about to play that game. That's why I say Passage from Decadence. And the reason I call it Passage from Decadence is because both characters in the end evolved. But they evolved in a way that took them on a journey, a passage. There's so much fire, so much tension, so many different. They love that dark side of Atlanta. They love that more penchant side of Atlanta. It never mattered with them. They would dip their toes into some things that were, you either clutch your pearls or say, take me along with you. One of the two. I think in the long run, for Stella, Bart had it wrong. He had it wrong. He really had it wrong. And I think for Stella Ann, she and Bart could have easily have come back together. But when he started dating a rival she knew she could never compete with, Elle, that became a problem. And see, you guys missed that part right there. My Mistress Elle Chronicles is nearly a 12-part series that leads from Bart and Stella Ann from Passage to Decadence into the Mistress Elle series. And that's a whole nother level. That series is an entirely different level. The last book in that series will be Winter Captives. Winter Captives will be the cap for the Mistress Elle Chronicles. But they're not written, I didn't write the books chronologically at home. You will see where they fit. But I love the way we segue into from Passage from Decadence into the Mistress Elle Chronicles, because the Mistress Elle Chronicles is going to take you guys into another series that I will reveal later. That's why I pulled Love and Leisure with Gentlemen of Eminent Merit from Amazon, because we're starting the series over again. And instead of making it just 3 short stories, I'm going to make it 10. We're behind the scenes right now. We are writing beast. We are writing everything under the sun right now. So that's why I'm in this office today and wrapped up in this sweater, because it's freezing in this. it's hotter than what they say. It's hotter than a juicy, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I used to live in the mountains, y'all. I'm telling you. That's why I love the mountains. They have some things up there. I just say it rhymes with hooter. But it's hot down here today in the south. The south is on fire for real, and it's 64 degrees upstairs in this house, which means it's 74 down here. So, I mean, maybe, no, I say maybe 69 down here. I can't stand to be cold at all. I don't like the cold. Grew up in it, but I don't like it. But that said, Passage from Decadence, ladies and gentlemen, is what you want to read. And I'm going to set this one aside over here so I can get them out of the way. This was my last release. Operation Night Mixer. Girl, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I call it Operation Night Mixer. Is about Sergeant First Class Sebastian King. I knew him as a soldier. I knew him as a father. I knew him as a gentleman. But I also knew him as a scoundrel too. He was something. And when I say scoundrel, I don't mean it in a derogatory manner. We're Southern. I'm a Southern traditionalist, so I write all things Southern, all things, definitely going to be glam, going to have a bit of glam lit, definitely going to have that military romance, that military romantic suspense, military romantic thriller, the whole 9 yards. Because the WIP we're working on now, or rather work in progress, excuse me, we're wrapping up now, is Prague Prometheus. Sergei ain't nothing to play with. That's a straight dark daddy. That will be my second thriller, romantic suspense thriller that I'll be writing, and it doesn't go as dark as doesn't go as dark as we went here, but we had to take you all there. The ending, I'd say, warning. There were five chili peppers given this book. If you haven't read it, read it. I also write about psychological romance, because love and intimacy begin in the brain, and the brain is the largest intimate organ there is. And Sergeant First Class Sebastian King, I'll put it this way, he loved, Katerina narrates this book. She's the narrator for this book. We chose her because I've sat with her so many times, and she, we changed notes, but I had nowhere near as many notes as she possibly could fill it. She filled in so many blanks. So I let her narrate it, wrote it, blah, blah, blah. We all knew each other. We knew each other as soldiers, friends, etc. We used to hang out together. Boom, 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 boom. You guys are going to love it. Now, when Operation Night Mixer starts off as we talk about Dr. Gustav Jung, who was an early 20th century and to this day famous doctor, and who spearheaded advances in psychology and psychoanalysis, who had the balls to challenge Dr. Sigmund Freud and Dr. Sigmund Freud's racism against people of color and women and other ethnic groups, Irish women, Scottish women. I don't know why Sigmund Freud had this thing about women. Every issue with women of color, especially after having children, always had to be riddled in some type of lack of intimacy, physical intimacy. That's the most ridiculous thing ever heard. And if you ever read the book or saw the movie, A Dangerous Method, if you are a writer of romance, especially dark romance, you need to watch that movie. That movie is actually based off the book written about the seismic shift that the qualms in the fight for psychological supremacy in the field of psychology at that time between Sigmund Freud, Sabina Spielheim, and Dr. Gustav Jung had on society, and what society wanted to believe, didn't want to believe, that it literally rocked the world almost. And it was based off the book The Talking Cure. And the reason I start off with Dr. Gustav Jung and Dr. Otto Gross, and even, what's his name? The, brain fog. Forgive me, guys. I can't think of his name right now. He wrote the book, Lady Chatterley's Lover. Harvard man. It'll come to me eventually. But he was very good friends with Dr. Otto Gross. Dr. Otto Gross was a womanizing fool, but he was a psychological crazy fool and brilliant at the same time. And he actually made the statement that relationships are something about love and relationships, and that we love to a certain degree until we complicate it. That how love is easy and relationships are easy until we as individuals complicate it. Well, damn. But he was a progressive. Dr. Otto Gross was way ahead of his time, because he felt that women, womanizer or not, he also felt that women should be freer, and that they were the smarter of the two species, men and women, that is. So it's just an interesting dynamic. That's why we start off with this book, because I personally caught him. Sebastian was reading some of Dr. Gustav Jung's thesis, Naked as a Jaybird, a Sweaty Fool. You open a door, you don't think. It was a pool party at his lake, because he comes from a very wealthy family here in Georgia. They own all that lake property. I couldn't wait till Thursday night, because I didn't go in on Fridays. Whenever they had a party on Friday, I didn't go in on. I'm going to that Mint Julep Jubilee. I'm out of here. Okay, I'm going on that yacht, that boat. Okay, I'm going to jump in the water. They cooking a pig in the ground. I'm out of here. My numbers. I would work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. 4 hours Thursday morning. And I would leave before Atlanta traffic got busy, because going up north was crazy. But you wanted to be invited. This was an invitation only. You had to be checked at the gate. You had to give your driver. You had to turn in your driver. You had to turn in your driver's license, your cell phones, everything. Jewelry, any expensive jewelry, you had to take it off. It was not allowed. Everyone had to look like everyone else. Now, I love that about the King family. I'll put it that way. Because they didn't want... It was the proper etiquette to do. I think it was very, very Southern, very, very partial. and very Emily Post. It was an Emily Post thing to do. I'm sorry, I have asthma and COPD. Something's in the air, and plus my huskies are shedding. So, guys, please excuse me. With that said, I put all of this in this book. And when I bring you into, it's worth taking the time to read, because then once you read the beginning, you will, throughout the book, you'll understand Sebastian King's psyche. And this is a 2-3 hour read. It's a short, it's a short story, but that's because we cut out all the nonsense, the extra crappy stuff. Their first intimate engagement between Elle and Sebastian King is so hot. I put it this way, and I'm going to give away a spoiler. This scene was so hot and powerful that Stella Ann's scream of passion rattled the glass of his brother's antique Humvee, $100,000 Humvee that he had souped up, shattered the windows, where they had literally 5 minutes to leave that area unnoticed. But by Elle and Sebastian having served in the Middle Eastern theater, or theater for you Northerners, they had to escape through a hatch in the floor into the lake. And by them being skilled combat veterans, they escaped unnoticed. But that didn't mean the hunt for them wasn't on. And that scene in that solarium, and the fire doesn't stop there. There is a desert scene. The desert scene in my book is so powerful. And I made it that way because I know passion. I know passion because I lived it. Again, I know passion because I lived it. I write what I know, not what I've heard, what I've experienced. If I haven't experienced it, I'm not going to write it, because then it's not authentic. It's just some BS you pulled out of the sky. I'm not going to deliver that to readers. Absolutely not. But the desert scene, when they were in the Iraqi theater, or what we call that white alabanced hell overseas, was so powerful that we wrote it in cursive. And for you young ones, cursive. Okay, if you can't read cursive, heaven forbid. I don't know what this world's coming to. But I'm a baby boomer. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a baby boomer. So I write passion. I write the frou-frou passion. And yes, I write with those 25-cent words because I learned and studied from those 25-cent words. And when I'm speaking to people, when I'm not just chilling like a villain, that is the way I speak. Because I am a Southern woman, a Southern debutante. I come from a long line of debutantes. But the main thing I'm a soldier and a veteran. I was an instructor. So I write the way I speak. I was a corporate trainer. When I talk to you guys, I'm a little lax because I'm trying to relate to people, and I don't want anyone to feel that I feel better than them or above them. No, that's not how I am. However, when I'm writing, that's different, because I have 3 editors that I use. One, I'm going to have to, I don't know, we're going to have either come to Jesus, or praise Jesus, or something, because I'm not a religious zealot. I will not have that interfere with anything that I write, etc., etc. And there's a reason they say there's separation between church and state. And when you start putting religion into the mix, you're closer to becoming a zealot than you realize, and I won't have that at all. But I respect religion because I love God and I respect God. But that said, I have 3 editors that I use. 2 with master degrees, 1 working on a doctorate, 1 registered counselor, whatever. I could call her 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we could start talking at 10 at night. We won't finish till 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or whatever. And I'm an avid note taker. I don't think I can feel anything else in this book, but it's filled full of so many notes. It's ridiculous. But we put all this in the book. We even there's an office scene in this book that's so powerful. Has nothing to do with any encounter with some first class king. It's when Elle is invited by King to his family's estate at Lake Lanier, which is in Georgia. It's a hoity-toity lake that everybody loved to go to. And his family's estate is a refurbished old plantation where they took an old slave. King was so keen on doing the right thing. His family wanted to tear down an old slave quarters and build something crazy and ridiculous. King kept that old slave quarters and turned it into a shrine, a guest quarters with the most beautiful and stunning shrubbery you could ever want to see. All the old markings from the slaves of a bygone era that many of us don't even want to think about. Even the name of the town that was all black that Georgia took from those residents that lived in that area, he left the name on that slave quarter. Drove his family bat shit boo boo crazy. But they cut the wall where they had these beds, crazy looking beds, hard beds that the slaves had to sleep on, and put this huge picture window in front of it. It has the best view of Lake Lanier on that entire estate. They hated him for it. Had a helipad, a helicopter landing pad. All of that is in this book. We put it all in this book. But what I liked about the office pool scene, because Stella had a way with people. She was a very people person. Easygoing. I mean, some people, she was hoity-toity, whatever. But she was always grounded. Because she was grounded in her own truth. And she was grounded in experiences that none of us had. That we wish we could have had. But that said, Sebastian's family, they didn't mind the relationship. They just resented the in your face about it. Because, I put it this way, the dynamic of the interracial thing. But their angst was no match for 2 soldiers who have been in combat. We don't see color per se. We just don't. We know it exists, But that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at, we're one and the same. You're my brother, I'm your sister. I got you. You got my back, I got yours. Let's just dress right, dress this, be done with it. That's how that went. Because I dated plenty of Caucasian soldiers. And I have to be honest, they weren't half bad. Some of the best relationships I had as a young soldier. And very eye-opening. The experiences were amazing. Nothing negative. And they were all from the South. I'm talking Kentucky, Texas, even Florida. One was from North Carolina. I had to ask him, "Are you from North Carolina or New Hampshire?" Because I can't tell the difference. But especially in his elocution of words, you know. But anytime you start quoting Shakespeare and Longfellow, to me, I'm already in. I'm getting ready to dive into the deep end of that ocean. Because you had me at what is hello. Okay. It's just an interesting. You guys will love this book. Operation Night Mixer it goes dark at the end. The ending is very powerful, but it also sets up the readers for the sequel, which is Operation Moonlight, where Elle and Sergeant First Class King's brother have to team up to go rescue him. Well, I did say intrigue, guys. This is romantic military suspense. And you get the dark alpha hero, the dark alpha male, the dark alpha female, and you got the crazy, out of control ex-wife who she is not having. You are not going to leave me for this woman of color. I don't care how many combat medals she has or whatever. And King said which he came home. He thought he was coming home to his wife. You know you got to be messed up when you meet your husband at the airport. Jackson Airport in Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson, Atlanta. You meet him in the airport and tell him that he can't come home after he fought like hell to get home to you and his kids, because King loved them girls. Now he loved his daughters because he's Southern bred. He's a home man. But see what she thought, his ex-wife thought, he had nothing to fall back on. She so underestimated Elle in his relationship with Elle. I don't know what she was thinking there. But she was always King's ex-wife, now ex-wife, was always resentful of him because she felt that her family was wealthier than King's. Excuse me. But had she not, if you didn't hop in the back of that Mustang of his, that power car of his, you could have gone on with your friends to New York or LA or wherever you wanted to go to meet the billionaire type you wanted to. But, when you look into King's eyes, you might as well, you're diving into, you're going to lose yourself. Especially the way he started licking them lips. I mean, come on. He would tell us all the time. We were like, why didn't you become an officer? You have the education. You have a master's degree in psychology. Why didn't you become an officer? Why didn't you go to West Point or somewhere. He had hundreds of offers. Princeton, Brown, Rice University. He almost went to Rice. I would have loved that. But I knew King wasn't. I told him to his face he wasn't going to do any of that. Because King, he would tell us, would you want me as an officer or an artilleryman? What kind of question is that to ask soldiers? We want to see you. You would make a great officer because you're grounded. Your family, they earned that money. It wasn't given to them. They weren't always millionaires. They invested a lot of property, a lot of land, sold a lot of land. They sold a lot of land for ridiculous amounts of money. But that's because Georgia is growing so, expanding so. The suburban Georgia has just gone batshit boo-boo crazy. You can't help but be. There are so many writers from Georgia, romance writers, because it's so much going on here. But that said, he would say, I'm an artilleryman. We'll pound you all night long. What kind of man would give up that? Well, damn. You have to love a guy like that. And what is not to love about this guy? It's like, God damn it. I'm like, are you always in your face in this way? You of all people. Me? Yeah, I caught a cold chill. What do you mean, me? I'm like, he was like, I would if I could. If you could what? He was like, he told me, your nose is too far in the air for me. I see you with that major. You didn't see me with any major. You saw that major with me. He was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, no, you just didn't use that reverse bullshit psychology with me. Damn it! I didn't see that. I said I didn't see that aerial bomb coming. He was like, I know. He was like, I like you because you full of yourself. I said, I like you too because you even fuller. I said, I got enough sense not to fool with your ass. Period. I'm like, you got women out here howling at the moon. He told me, he said, you're what is it? Bhagya Yaga. I'm a witch? He said, but a good witch. I'm like, no, don't even try. That don't lower that blow. And he never cared. I almost said a bad word. That so-and-so, that son bitch. He just didn't care what he's. And I used to call him like, you son bitch. He just didn't care. But King he just didn't care what he said. He would say it, but he wanted to rattle your nerve. I put all this in this book. That's why I say Operation Night Mixer, when you read it, when you start getting to the hot, fiery stuff, you ask any soldier that's been to the Middle East, how do you hop in a Humvee, drive out to the desert? You got the enemy on your left, your company on your right. You're in the middle of the desert. A gazillion stars in the sky. Because some nights out there, guys, it was just something out of a dream. You would never know you're in the middle of a crazy war. A shameless, nobody's going to win this war. But that said, the moon's out. They're out there in the Humvee, getting their swerve on, as we used to say. But they get it on in a way that's so fiery, not realizing that our ass is over there in the bushes watching everything as if we're watching Netflix or something. Or some type of skin flick from the 70s or 80s. That's what I'm saying. People don't realize how powerful Operation Night Mixer is. And we called him, the reason why the book is titled Operation Night Mixer was King was a master at DJing. And he was an R&B DJer. He could night mix all night long. He used to play them songs in the barracks, or whatever you want to call them. Shit. Don't mess with that boy. Mr. Airborne Ranger and Mr. Air Assault. He went to Fort Campbell. He was stationed at both Fort Campbell and Fort Bragg. And he had enough medals on him that would literally make MacArthur shit his pants. I'll put it that way. Or General McChrystal, if you want to be more modern. But check. If you don't check out these two books. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. I can't get in the camera. Okay, there you go. Check out these two books. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. I done talked to y'all long enough. I'm going to sit here today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting ready to go into beast mode on this computer because I have to get to MMB, Mary Marvella Barfield. If you want your books edited and edited right, yeah, I better get with her. Get with her, Susie Barrows, LL Lilly. I strongly urge that you get with Susie, because Susie Barrows, she does a lot of technical editing for me because she was a technical editor for DC Comics. How lucky a girl am I. And she was recommended to me from my mentor and very good friend and colleague and SD. I'm just going to say SD. Anyway, you have to figure that one out. He wrote this screenplay. He's a famous screenplay, right, for a famous pulp fiction book, Mystery Men. So see, I may not be in that best-selling author category, because that's why I tell everyone every book that's a bestseller is not a best read. My goal is to write books that are read best, where readers come away with something. You don't want to read a best-selling book and come away with, damn, that was good, but is that a bestseller? Yeah. Yeah. And there are some great bestsellers out there. I've been reading them, listening to them on Audible, and y'all been keeping secrets out there too. I just learned in the past 2.5 months that you can go on YouTube and listen to Audible books, best-selling Audible books for free. Okay, free 99, y'all. Hello. What better way to listen and learn and know what readers are really enjoying? So that said, those of you that are, I haven't forgotten you guys. We're going to build this new group slowly. I'm not letting in any bad seeds. If you're on 5, 6, 7, or 8 different platforms, I ain't letting you in my group, because you're not going to bring, unless I know for a fact that you're not coming in with any craziness and stupidity. Nothing toxic. There's too much going on. We just want to have fun, engagement, and be happy. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, life is too short. Books should be fun. Literature is fun. This is a fun thing. We love to read. We love to engage. I want to post happy posts and, take care of you, girly stuff. Because I have a girly side. Don't think I don't. DJ Nana definitely has it. But that said, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the follows. I hope you continue to follow me. I have so much more coming. Mr. Best of Everything is coming. Also, the Kinky Spy is coming. We're working on all of these consecutively. I swear to God, we are so. Some days I'm like, what am I working on today? But also, I don't know if many of you know it. A week ago, we thought we were going to lose my son because he and my grandson, they have rare forms of diabetes. Ladies and gentlemen, diabetes is very serious. My son DKA'd 3 times in 1 week. I can't. That was an eye opener for me. That was my come to Jesus, come to God moment. Whatever beef you have with your children, whatever going on, it ain't worth it. He's my only son. And he's happy now. He's, I don't know how to explain it, but his sugar spiked to over 1,000. When it spikes like that, your kidneys are shutting down. Your organs are in trouble. That was a scary moment for me. All the anger and bitterness I had with him, all the beefs went out the window. And now I think it was God's way of saying, wake up, girl. Wake up. You got my attention. Put it that way. So I've been through a lot. That is why I won't accept any more toxicity, no more subliminal messages on stories and this. Say what, if you have a beef with me, say whatever the hell you need to say, and then keep it fucking moving. Period. Point blank. Because this should be fun. I'm going to make it fun. I know how to make it fun. I know fun. I know fun. I believe in fun. I believe in adventure. Not BS, adventure. I believe in striking out. Let's just pack up. Let's rent. I remember I just wanted a great weekend one time. Ladies and gentlemen, I leased a ragtop convertible. And it was amazing. And I had the most amazing weekend. Oh my God. It started, I went Wednesday, to me back then, Wednesday was our weekend. Wednesday to Sunday was our week. On Monday morning. That was the weekend. I would come back in, drop the car off on Monday morning. And just set out. Savannah or Lake Lanier or to the mountains. I loved going to the mountains. I really did. Because I love visiting my friend. He and his crew. I loved his contractor because she was female. We got along amazingly. They were amazing people. Floridians loved it. I nicknamed him myself, and everyone, it just caught on, because he wouldn't let me call him by his first name. Of course not. I said, can I call you Sugar? He was like, only if you put the daddy on the end. No, that's not gonna work. I'm sorry, not for me. So I just call him Sugar. Like, hey, Sugar Wooga. He loved that. We were out somewhere, all of us, just having dinner, steak dinner. This was our lunch because we were going to barbecue that evening. If you're anywhere in the Smokies, in the evenings you're going to do that. You're going to barbecue the steaks. You're going to have the fire pit going because it was wintertime. But that sunset, Jesus. I don't want to be on any. I'm either put me on the river in the mountains. The Carolinas is where it's at. I'm sorry. It's just where it's at. That is why I am a romance author for a reason, because I love romance. My life has been a romantic journey, most of it. When I'm not in pain around the clock. So it's just been an incredible. I've lived, and if I die tomorrow, I tell my children, if I die tomorrow, I have lived a wonderful and incredible life, even with the hard times. And looking back to what's going on today and everything, those hard times were nowhere close to what people are experiencing today. And I don't know why God or the angels or whatever shined on me like that, but they did. So I had to have done something right. So that said, ladies and gentlemen, get the books, get the books, get the books, try them out. Join me in my group on Facebook, please, because so many wonderful things are coming, and we have leveled up the game in so much. And we're going to bring you realness. We're going to bring y'all we're about to bring you some booklet that, you're going to wonder, wow, I didn't know she had it in her, but I do. So that said, happy Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe, be safe, be safe. I'm going to do 2 or 3 more videos today. I just have to pause for lunch. And my favorite thing right now, because I've been talking forever, Diamond Crown. I've got to have this Diamond Crown. I can't smoke them like I used to because I do have COPD, but I'm going to smoke this Diamond Crown with this rusty nail. Oh, please. Can you say therapist? Okay. Have a great time. I'm such a practical joker. I can't help it. I'm a dark comedy person too. But I love you guys. Thank you for everything. Be safe, have fun, enjoy yourselves, and thank you for coming into my ladies layer / book layer / hide away from everybody. This is the indoor she shed. Okay, so you guys have a good one, and love you guys. Bye bye.